Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Buzik. I'm the pelvic floor physical therapist with Total Performance in our North Wales location. This is going to be a short video about some lifestyle habits and changes that you could do to just improve your pelvic floor and bladder health. As a pelvic floor physical therapist, I often see patients who are dealing with dysfunctional pelvic floor muscle. While there's many different factors that can affect pelvic floor and bladder health, there are definitely some lifestyle changes and habits that you could start doing today to really improve the health of the bladder and the pelvic floor and to prevent any further issues from popping up in the future. The first thing that I'm going to recommend is incorporating exercise into your daily routine, okay? Ideally, you want to do exercises that help with pelvic floor strength and lengthening. So that would be very similar to Pilates style or yoga style exercise. A lot of people usually think of Kegels. I will say that is probably the last thing you should be doing. In fact, there are many conditions where Kegels are actually going to make your symptoms worse. So try to shy away from those unless you've specifically been prescribed them by a pelvic floor PT. Secondly, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated and you're eating a healthy diet. The worst thing you could do for your bladder is not drinking enough water. I know a lot of people, specifically with incontinence, are thinking, oh, I'm leaking a lot, so let me decrease my water intake. You're actually making the issue worse. So make sure you're consuming at least 64 ounces of just plain water, not tea, not coffee, not seltzer water, just plain H2O, minimum 64 ounces a day. In terms of diet, you really want to make sure you're eating probiotics and fiber just to make sure your bowels are in order, you're having a bowel movement every day, and you're emptying all the way. A full colon is actually going to impact your pelvic floor and bladder health as well. My fourth tip is to make sure that you're mindful of your posture throughout the day. So proper posture is going to activate your core and your pelvic floor muscles. That is just going to improve the function of those muscles in the long run. If you're sitting for your job and you're very kind of hunched over forward, that's going to completely turn off your core and your pelvic floor muscles, weakening that over time. It's also just going to biomechanically mess up all the other muscles now that the core and the pelvic floor aren't functioning the way they're supposed to. You really don't want to stay in one position for too long during daytime hours. If you're sitting for work, you want to get up about every hour, move around, use the restroom, do an exercise or a stretch is what I usually recommend, but try not to sit for more than an hour. Same thing with standing. You really don't want to be standing in the same position for more than an hour. Your body's meant to move. That's what's healthy for our body. So any type of prolonged position, whether it's standing, laying, or sitting, is not going to be good for a prolonged amount of time. Finally, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of rest and you're managing your stress properly. A lot of women with anxiety or high stress tend to be tense, so they'll tense their jaw, they'll tense their shoulders, and most of the time they're also going to be tensing their pelvic floor muscles. Over time, that's also going to diminish the function of those muscles because they're just always under tension. So definitely find ways to manage your stress, whether that's meditating, journaling, doing things like yoga in the long run. That is definitely going to be healthier for you overall and your body overall. Remember, making small changes in your lifestyle can have a big impact in your overall health and your pelvic floor health. If you are suffering from pelvic floor dysfunction, try making some of these changes, incorporate this into your daily routine, and definitely seek guidance from a trained pelvic floor therapist so they can come up with an individualized plan for you and your specific situation.